Yo, everybody, what's going on? Welcome to episode 15 of Unfiltered. I'm your host, ChanManV, and today's show, we got a lot of good topics. Going to start it off with some DreamHack Valencia talk, the event that happened this past weekend. And we're going to talk about the Steam Summer Sale now that it's over. Want to find out how much damage it did to your wallet if you actually ended up buying like a shitload of games like I did and not knowing if I'm actually going to get to play it or not. Then we're going to talk about the crazy, hot topic, drama topic, whatever you want to call it, concerning WCS Finals being scheduled on the same day as the International 3.
Wait, that really happened?
And then we're gonna finish things off by bringing on Mr. Robert Yip, who is a sports psychologist and a performance coach, and we're going to talk about the benefits of just kind of what he does for players and some of the stories that he has working with players like TLO and Rhett and that sort of thing. He's one of my co-hosts on Pro Corner too, if you've never seen Pro Corner. And we'll finish it off with the questions, as always, from you guys. You can post your questions on the Reddit thread, which is right here, if you guys haven't seen it yet. And we will try to get to every single question you guys post. We typically do. There's only a few times where we haven't gotten to all of them, so be sure to post them there. Okay, well, let's get started. Joining me as always is my partner in crime, the delectable Destiny. What's up, Steven?
Yo, what's up, buddy?
Dude, you are crystal clear today, man. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I know, it's really bad. I should have shaved.
This is
I
awesome.
didn't even realize it.
I don't know what's going on, man. Skype's just awesome today for some reason. Usually he's like all pixelated and crap on my end. I don't know why, but... Alright, so let's talk about DreamHack. Did you get a chance to watch any of DreamHack? Should I even
Are you crazy, man? You crazy? Come on, man. I gotta grind in my league games.
Shit, exactly. I actually had your stream going on the other on the other side too. But for those of you that did catch it, I watched a good deal of it. Just some quick highlights. So Ghost User made the semifinals, which is pretty crazy. You know, American making the semifinals of DreamHack. I don't even remember the last time that happened. And God, I just don't get it. Oh, I love Mike to death, but man, he ends up going 1-1 against Hyun, and then he ends up 15 hatching, and guess what Hyun does?
6 pull?
I think it wasn't 6 pull, it was either 9 pull or 10 pull, but it was like an all-in version.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, so he obviously lost. He obviously lost that last game really quickly after a dramatic second game that Ghost User won. So it was really sad, and he actually outplayed Hyun in the first 2 games, even though he lost the first one barely. So I was just I was so disappointed because Hyun ended up outplaying Jaedong in the finals. So I think Ghost User probably would have had a legitimate chance of winning the whole thing.
Was there like a loser's bracket or anything, or was he completely out after that?
No, he was completely out. DreamHack's like this. It's like this pool. It's like 3 pools and then a single elimination at the end.
Got it. Oh, I understand. Okay.
Yeah. So really close for Ghost User, and it's a really great win for Hyun since it was his first StarCraft 2 title. So good stuff there.
Who finished second?
Jaedong.
Jaedong? Okay.
The Dong. Yeah, it was gonna be one of their first titles, so it was kind of cool in that regard. But anything else? The only thing I'd mention is that it was cool seeing Smix host. She was actually a co-host in this tournament versus a translator.
Yep.
And
I saw that. A lot of people were happy with her translating and whatnot.
Yeah, it's just really cool that we didn't have to have another person on the stage every time she did that, and she was really personable and everything too when she was up there. So she got as much stage time as Rachel did. So that was really cool.
Smix can actually bring something to the. No, I'm just kidding. It is really nice though. I know that like in Miami, I know that my mom gets like a lot of job opportunities just because she's bilingual, you know? It's a really nice skill to have, especially in this scene, to have somebody on stage that can go back and forth between translating and communicating to Koreans and that. It's a nice skill to have.
What language does your mom speak other than English?
Spanish and English.
Oh, okay. Yeah. In Florida, right? God, everybody in Miami. If you go to Miami, you guys, if you ever go down there, it's like being in Mexico or something.
Whoa, Cuba, bro. Call me
Cuba.
shit.
Sorry, Cuba.
What the fuck?
It's like in Cuba. My bad.
You're gonna mix me up with them dirty Mexicans?
Oh my god. But no, seriously, you go down there and nobody speaks English in some places.
It just depends on what part of
crazy.
it depends on what part of the city you're in. Depends on what part of the city you're in.
I guess. Yeah, there's some parts that are like even touristy, and I walk in and I'm like, what? Like nobody speaks English here. What the fuck? This is crazy. No, but yeah. Anyway, it's cool. It's cool though. Yeah, lots of Spanish. Actually, my daughter starting to speak Spanish pretty well too.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird because she watches Dora and they speak. They teach
shit.
Spanish in preschool too here.
I don't think I've ever seen an Asian that's fluent in Spanish in my entire life.
It's weird because my in-laws will be teaching her Chinese in the car. We'll be like teaching her how to count in Chinese and stuff like that. And then she'll respond in Spanish. It's pretty hilarious, man. But yeah, so hopefully she'll be trilingual by the end of this. But okay, DreamHack. That's going to be about DreamHack. We'll talk about more about DreamHack on Climb the Ladder if you guys watch Climb the Ladder. But okay, Steam Summer Sale. So we talked about the Steam Sale a little bit last week, and I was saying I wasn't going to buy much. I was, maybe going to spend about $15-20 or so. Well, I ended up spending about $120 or $130 on games. And did you buy any games, Steven?
I didn't buy shit, dude. I got so many games. I'm so busy, man. Unlike you, I actually have to work and shit.
Dude.
There's a lot of stuff that I have to keep up with, so I don't have time to just buy games and play them.
Fucking
It's fun.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
I don't
have
have
time to
fun
play
with games
games.
anymore. It's all about eSports now. The fun is gone.
Oh my god. Yep. I'm not gonna even comment that. Anyways, I don't have much time either to play games, but I wasn't gonna buy many. But then, God, I don't know what it is. It's like that sensation I had the first day I got on the App Store. The iTunes App Store.
Sure.
Do you have an iPhone or?
Nope. I don't deal with. I don't touch anything that has the word app in it.
God, you're such a loser.
No offense to
man.
you. I know you make mobile apps,
You're a
but
fucking
if it says
loser.
app, I usually just stay away from it.
What if it says game?
Yeah, I do. I can do games. Back when I was a kid, we used to call them programs, but now everything's called apps, and it's too scary for me. I'm too old for that.
Oh my god. Yeah, those were definitely the days. Anyways, I had the same sensation I had the first day I jumped on, the, Google Play Store or the App Store, and it was just like I was just going nuts. I just had this crazy mini addiction to buying shit that was cheap.
Yeah.
I ended up buying Civ 5. Somebody's asking me about Civ 5. I bought Civ 5. God, I bought Antichamber, Walking Dead, bought Shogun, Terraria. God. Torchlight 2. I bought all these games that I'm never going to get a chance to play, but I just couldn't stop buying them. I bought some for subscriber giveaways too, by the way, guys. So I got that idea from JP, by the way. So thanks, JP, for... He tweeted that he did it, so I was just like, oh, that's actually a really good idea to buy, all these cheap games and give them away to subscribers. So we'll be doing that sometime soon. But I want to see really quickly in the chat, how much did you guys spend on the Steam Summer Sale? I want to see who spent the most. Real quick, $60, $50, 61. I spent $120. Anybody spent over $120? Anybody? 260, 250 euros, 360. Holy shit! No, some guy said $1,000, no way you spent $1,000.
Somebody linked something in your chat. The psychology behind Steam Summer Sale.
Oh yeah, where's that? Oh yeah.
This is a pretty interesting article. Did you ever take psych in high school or college?
Yeah, I actually was a psych major for a semester in college.
Really?
Believe it or not.
So
yeah.
One of the coolest things that you deal with in psychology is how people learn, right?
Yeah.
Like the idea of learning and reinforcing behaviors and whatnot, and a lot of this has to do with that. That shit is very interesting to me. I think my favorite thing, my favorite learning thing that I learned, probably because I worked in the casino too, but that I learned in psych in high school was there are ways where like you can reward somebody based on a set amount of time of doing an action, a random amount of time of doing an action, a set number of times they do an action, or a random number of times they perform an action, right? Do you remember the specific words for this? I don't remember the specific words. It's like...
No, I don't remember the specific words for it.
Well, I remember... So you do an action, okay? Like, say you touch a cat, fuck, I'm trying to think of something not sexual or not ridiculous.
Well, you can make anything sexual. Just say anything.
Okay, we'll say a slot machine, okay, since it fits, right?
Right.
So... There are 4 different ways of learning, kind of learning a behavior and learning a response. Okay, so you pull a lever on a machine, okay? And after doing that for a fixed amount of time, you can. It's not classical conditioning versus operant conditioning. It's not that. It's something different.
Yep.
So you pull it for 5 minutes, okay, and then after 5 minutes, you're given a reward, okay, every time. But then you can pull it, and after a random amount of time, you'll be given a reward, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's one where you can pull it, and after a fixed number of pulls, you will get a reward.
Yeah,
and then there's
constant.
one where, and then there's one where after a random number of pulls, you'll be given a reward. And they studied this with birds. The book that I had was written by, you're familiar with Zimbardo, right? It's like the fucking godfather of all psychology, right? So this is one of the books that he either authored or co-authored, right? So, and he talks about a study in this book where they have pigeons and they try to figure out like which forms of conditioning are like the hardest to break, right?
Okay.
And they got like a bird, and so after a set amount of time, he would like peck on something, and a seed would come out, so he could eat it. Okay. And with this form of learning, like after the first time he did it, and they cut off the reward for like a couple minutes, it only took like a very short amount of time for him to stop pecking because he didn't care anymore, right? He wasn't getting a prize. Yeah. For the random amount of time, it would take him a little bit longer because he wouldn't know when the next reward was coming, right? But eventually he would stop altogether. And then there was one where after like five beaks, it would show out. It would ship out like a seed to him to eat, right? And every 5, he would get a reward. And then they would cut it off. He would like peck like 15 or 20 times more, and then there would be no more seeds, and he would quit it, right?
Yeah.
But the form of conditioning where he would peck, and after a random amount of pecks, he would get a seed. And so he would peck a random amount of times to get a seed, and he wouldn't know how many times he would have to peck to get it, but it would be a random amount, and then a seed would come out. Well, when they cut that one off, it's fixed variable ratio on rewarding behavior or whatever. And after they cut that one off, they could get the bird to peck like 6,000 times more.
Right.
It was like an insane, like compared to the other 3 forms of rewarding behavior, it was like an insane number of times more that bird would peck to not to get a seed, even though nothing was coming. Yeah. And it was interesting because that's one of the primary forms of reward conditioning that like casinos will use at a slot machine, because every time that you pull the lever, after a random number of pulls, you will receive a reward, and like that kind of conditioning is what conditions people into pulling it over and over and over again,
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
It's funny because that exact thing is something we take really into account in terms of designing mobile games.
Yeah, definitely. All of those little psychology tricks, especially in mobile games, because because it's such a huge fucking market, and you have such a little amount of time to capture somebody's interest and attention in the most psychologically addictive way possible,
Yep. And it's funny because you mentioned slot machines, because a couple of facts about mobile is that the slot machine apps are one of the highest generating money makers in terms of apps
that's called operant conditioning. Okay.
Yeah. And because of that, a lot of these just really simple games like Bejeweled, and actually at one point like last year or about a year ago, every single game was doing this. They would just add a slot machine portion into their app, a way of like giving you coins, like some type of virtual currency that you could buy stuff inside the game. Sure. And that was exactly what they were trying to, I don't want to say prey upon, but that's kind of what they were definitely using in terms of engagement to their games. Mm-hmm. So it's used a lot, and in this case, obviously with the store, but also with game design, I take that into heavy account whenever I'm thinking about the games I'm designing and how to keep people engaged and how to give stuff randomly to them. And I mean, you're exactly right. It's if you just cut it, then people are just like waiting to see if.
I think it's a really interesting conversation to have. I would like to see like a room full of game designers and a room full of psychologists having a conversation about like good ways to move forward in terms of game design, because there are a lot of people, and I think you can make legitimate arguments that abusing these kind of psychological weaknesses of humans can lead sometimes to relatively shitty games where you're not actually being marketed gameplay, but you're being marketed these like addictive kind of these like routine, learning schemes. And you see like examples of it in all sorts of games. How games have become easier, how you're rewarded for behavior through the form of like achievements, so much easier and whatnot. I don't know. I think it would be really interesting to get like a group of psychologists that played games together like a bunch of game designers to like talk about the manifestation of all of these different things into games today to see if it's like a good thing or a bad thing or if there's a way to better balance it out, you know?
Yeah, because it's a really important thing for developers because
the way the League of Legends Champions works with IP and everything is a good example.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's exactly the same. Well, it's a more moderate version of it, but yeah, it's really important because that's really the key to making money too, in these games. Because you can have the most popular game ever, like Angry Birds and stuff, and those kind of occurrences rarely happen to begin with. But even Angry Birds didn't maximize monetization the way they could. So, so a lot of these other games, and the biggest one right now is Candy Crush, right? If you study Candy Crush, oh my god, they use so many little tactics that are really awesome. Actually, awesome from the standpoint of keeping people playing the game, and awesome from the standpoint of making money too. So, it'd be awesome. It'll be awesome to hear some.
I wish that I had. It'd be cool. I wish that I had a link to the study that I read, but there's a lot of people that talk about the negative aspect of instant gratification, I don't want to say low intelligence, but like instant gratification, simple humor, or simple entertainment versus kind of long-term, more fulfilling stuff. Yeah. And a lot of people will compare it to, say, watching a movie or reading a book or taking part of some kind of entertainment that's like more satisfying or fulfilling in the long term, you know? Mm-hmm. But how even though that entertainment is more satisfying or fulfilling in the long term, it will generate way less revenue or way less interest than something like reddit.com/r/advice animals. You know, or the funny, where you can sit at your computer and you can scroll through 50 different funny pictures and kind of have a little chuckle at every picture, and then that's it, you know? But how those kinds of things have been, society's kind of geared itself more towards those things because they're easy to, make a lot of money off of really fast and move on to the next thing, and they require way less work than an actual, like, long-term,
Yeah,
I
think definitely the attention span in general for society has been shortening, definitely getting smaller and smaller with the current forms of media and forms of entertainment these days. I mean, look at YouTube, for instance, right? If you want to maximize your YouTube channel, you're supposed to make short videos. You're supposed to make videos that are no longer.
1 to 5 minutes max. Even 5 minutes is too long. I think they recommend like a minute 30 seconds.
Are you sure about that? Because I had John from Carbot on Climbing the Ladder about a couple weeks ago, and he said that his videos are usually about 1.5 minutes or so, 2 minutes, and he said that's actually not optimal. And
what does he think is optimal?
He was talking about around the 15 minutes to 30 minute range. That's the most
no way. Just think about the average person who wants to sit and watch a 30 minute YouTube video. No way.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I think
just
really
saying what he
quick
was saying,
to digest the things that I've always heard from people is that I guess it kind of depends on what you're doing too. But from what I've heard, like if you can make really funny, like 3 to 5 minute at the most, like video clips, like those are the kind because they're quick and easy to digest. People will click and watch it, and they'll maybe go on to the next one.
Well, they might be optimal from the standpoint of creating them, and then your revenue you make from them. Just the time it takes to create.
Yeah.
But I wonder, if the engagement or the CPM is the highest in that.
If you can get people to watch 15, 20 minutes of videos, that'd probably be best.
Because they give you higher CPM based on the longer somebody actually watches your video or stays on your video, right? And I think if you get to that double-digit mark, it's really, really high. Like the CPM is crazy high.
If you're kind of like an established channel, I'm just thinking more of like the quick for consumption videos.
Just volume stuff. Yeah. But definitely, it's kind of a trend in our society for sure that people are doing that. The less and less. I mean, people still read books, but I feel like less and less people are really reading books to to the end or the full extent versus just kind of reading.
I don't think you have to read books to get like
it's just an
I
example.
understand that reading is good.
Yeah,
I know, but like English teachers would like pimp that shit. It was really fucking annoying. I hated my fucking English teacher. She was a good person, but I remember the worst thing I ever heard from her. I remember she would say things like, "Find things that engage your brain, guys. Like, don't watch a movie, go see a play." And it's like, that's kind of the same thing. Like, what the fuck, I think it comes down to more like how much you actually engage your mind while watching something, rather than like, because I think you could be an active participant even in something like film, as opposed to like a passive participant, like sitting there like a vegetable, just kind of watching it and taking it in and not thinking about anything.
I mean, give me an example. Like it's not like you're talking out loud or anything like that, right? I mean, it depends on the movie.
I don't know
too,
what's like a good movie. Like, Okay, so like to use my favorite movie, right? I really like a movie called Pan's Labyrinth, right?
Yep.
I think that it's possible to to think a lot about what's going on there, to not necessarily imagine backstories, but to become very involved in that universe, you know? In the same way that if you're reading a book, you tend to become very involved in whatever book you're reading, right? I think that the thing is, like, a book forces you to do it, and a movie doesn't necessarily force you to do it. But I think you can become just as, like, imaginatively involved in, like, a movie as you can in a book, you know?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's definitely easier just to have your senses stimulated, right, with a movie, than with a book. I mean, that's the thing with a book is you're right. It requires more brain power to.
I don't want to say that.
Well,
Fuck, that's pretentious as fuck.
Well, that's not what I mean by brain. I don't mean it takes like a smarter person to read a book. I'm just saying that, there's not you can't visually see that. You can't actually visually see anything. So you actually have to envision these things in your head, and it can be interpreted in different ways, and so there's that whole aspect to books that are it's just a little bit less. I don't know what the best word to say there is, but I don't know. It just works your brain a little bit less, I think, when you're watching the movie. Are there movies that are really great that really pose awesome questions and that sort of thing? Absolutely, there are, but. I mean, how many movies have you actually seen or heard that where people that have a book version too, and where people actually say that the movie is better than the book? Has there actually been?
I fucking hate those people. It's impossible to compare the mediums of a book and a movie. I mean, to properly make some books into a movie, it would take like 10 hours, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I personally, like, this is just my opinion. I know a lot of people might disagree, but I thought that the writing in the Gospels was really boring, and I like the Passion of the Christ. I thought that was much more interesting. No, but really, like, I don't know. What's like an example of a movie?
I can't think of anyone, but was Pants a book? Pants was a book, right?
Oh shit. I'll take issue with what that guy. I thought that the I Am Legend movie was way more entertaining than the I Am Legend book. I thought that the book was fucking garbage. It was the dumbest shit I've ever read in my life.
Dude, you like the movie?
I mean, it was okay for what it was. It was
good.
like Will Smith. It wasn't like an amazing, like fucking thought provoking, like I'm gonna make sure that my child sees it when he comes of age kind of movie. But it was an okay movie, you know.
Yeah, it was. I guess it wasn't that great in my opinion.
The ending of the I Am Legend book, it tried to get like super like philosophical in like the last like 15 sentences, and it wasn't that at all. Like the entire book, it was just like ugh. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't like the book at all. I thought that the book tried to. It was just really meh.
Atlas Shrugged. God, what movie was? I don't remember. I don't remember watching.
Shh. We don't talk about Ayn Rand here.
Really? You have something against Ayn Rand? I didn't know that.
No, it's just the people that love her are fucked, and the people that absolutely hate her are fucked, and it's like one of those things that you can't talk about ever.
It is true. It's very polarizing. And it's very, very true. Okay, well, we got into a rabbit hole with the Steam sale talk there, but it was good stuff. Let's kind of move on to the kind of crazy, juicy topic, which is the WCS season finals being. Well, Blizzard announcing that all 3 region finals will be at the same time on the same weekend. But not only
the Lord of the Rings movies are on par with the books. I haven't heard that from a single person that has ever watched and read both. No one has ever said that ever. What?
I disagree with that for sure. They're kind of it's kind of different actually. It's like one of those things.
The scope of the book is way fucking larger too. Like the guy wrote his own fucking languages and shit, and had like maps and everything of the land. Tolkien guy.
Yeah.
Those are like incomparable. That's a really good example of something that would take like 15 movies to cover. Like
I wish they would make 15 movies of it. That would be awesome. Aragon. Oh yeah, Aragon. God, that first Aragon. It's like a kids movie basically. But anyways, okay. So getting back, yeah. So the news of yesterday.
Hold on, I'm gonna say it. I thought the Lord of the Rings movies were really fucking boring. It was just like a lot of fighting. Like that was every movie. Like I didn't get anything, and I watched all 3. Like I thought they were kind of entertaining, but I didn't get what. There was just like big fights in like every movie, and that was like what all the movies were.
I don't know. I was pretty immersed. I kind of felt immersed into the movie just because, just the settings and the cinematography was so amazing in the movie.
And like it was kind of amazing, I guess, but it was just like a lot of fighting. Like that was it. Like where was like there wasn't like any like amazingly fucking acted scene, you know? It wasn't like there was no like Shawshank Redemption fucking Morgan Freeman speeches. There wasn't any
What? You shall not
fucking
pass is not a powerful moment for you?
I kind of, I guess. I mean, I don't know. My biggest disappointment with the movie is that the Gandalf guy, if you watch all three movies very
He's the
closely,
same, yeah.
right? If you watch all of them very closely, you'll notice, and this confused the fuck out of me, that he never casts magic ever.
I know. I know.
All he does is he hits people with his staff. He never casts a single fucking spell. I was always waiting for him to like start shooting fireballs and shit at people, but the only thing he ever did was shine the light on like those dragon things so that they would fly away from the people like riding into fucking town. Why why didn't he ever...
Well, didn't you ever play that Middle Earth game? That Lord of the
No.
Ring Middle Earth game? Dude, the Gandalf was the worst guy in that game. I mean, he doesn't cast jack shit except for like light. I think he has a light spell, and I don't know. He has some kind of fire spell. But yeah, in the movie, he literally he summons the bird. He summons the birds, right? What else does he do? He has that big old light, the big old light spell in the second one. And then what else does he do?
That's it. He just smacks
A
you
shield.
with
Okay, he has a shield. Yeah,
he
yeah.
Yeah, whatever. He just like
And-
hits people.
Seriously, he's like a warrior. He's like
Yeah,
a warrior
what
with
the
a
fuck?
blunt.
Why does he even have the
blunt
staff? Like, why not just get a shield or a sword? I'm pretty sure he draws a sword at one point too, doesn't he? When he's
Yeah, he
riding
draws a
the horse?
sword. He draws a sword, I think, in the third one. Yeah, that's true.
Whatever.
What is
But
this?
apparently magic doesn't work like that in Middle Earth. But I didn't know that because that was never explained in the movies. I was always waiting for like I was waiting the entire movie at like some point for Gandalf to be like, well, now we're backed into a corner. It's time for me to use my fucking amazing skills as a wizard. But instead, he's just like some like fucking tarot card reader or some shit. I don't know.
Oh man, that's funny. That's funny.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm done. Okay, go ahead. What were we talking
Are
about?
we sure we're done with this topic now, right? We sure? Anybody want to bring up any other movies or books?
I don't understand what the whole
God.
point of. Why did they have to fight so much if when Frodo was gonna dump the ring in? Like I've heard some people say that it's just to like distract the Eye of Sauron. Is that why they fought the entire time? Because it seems like all the fighting was pointless. Because when Frodo threw the ring in, everything died anyways. Like why did all those people have to die and shit? Like there wasn't a better way to distract.
Oh my God, are you trolling me? I mean, you
I
seriously
didn't. It
trolling
wasn't
me?
explained in the movies.
My
like we're gonna go
God.
fight fucking World War VII out here. We're gonna lose millions of lives, even though all Frodo has to do is toss that fucking ring in, and then everything ends anyways. Like, what was the point of everybody dying and shit?
Dude, it's a long ways. It's a long ways to Mordor, man. You gotta distract the fucking eye, right?
Dude, I don't know, man. You tell me. All right. Was the Spiegel the Spiegel guy? Was he sent by Sauron, or was he just like a random dude?
You didn't pay attention
Uh,
to anything that
I know exactly.
Watched all three. Tell me.
Tell him. Tell him.
Was he
You
a
should be
random
paying
dude, or was
attention.
I watched all three.
How, no, if you watched all three movies and you paid attention, you would know at least that.
Look at this. They're putting the
Oh, I
smack down.
remember.
Somebody better put the smack down on Steven. Jesus.
What was he? Was he a random dude or what?
Oh my
What did he random did? He was a come on, you know the story, right?
I remember that he fucking like bit his finger off in the end. What did he do?
What? No. You made me watch Clerks too. Am I gonna have to make you watch Lord of the Rings again so that you can actually?
I watched every movie twice, and I was fucking bored to tears at the second time through.
Oh shit, this is funny, man. This is funny. Okay, so yeah, so I think Steven's gonna have to rewatch the you're gonna have to allocate 6
And the
hours.
ring's power isn't even that fucking cool. You turn invisible? Like, of all the cool fucking shit a power of a ring could give you, why is invisibility the coolest?
It's a ring of power, dude. You didn't even see what.
What else?
Sauron
Like, that
could do.
sounds like the lamest fucking superpower ever. Like, what can you do? Like, I can sneak into the fucking girls' locker room, but they're gonna be like black shadow dudes chasing me every time I put it on? Like, what the fuck is the point? It's like the worst power ever.
Shadow dudes.
It was more powerful in Sauron's hand? Why? What did Sauron do with the ring? Was Frodo not like a good wizard? They should have got fucking Harry Potter to take the ring. At least that guy could like cast real magic and shit.
Oh my god, I'm gonna need to get her on here next time, man.
Cool thing is about the ring. What's the cool thing about the ring? What did it do in Sauron's hand?
Well, he's able to defeat armies pretty much by himself with it.
How? You just said they can't cast real magic in the Lord of the Rings universe. They just shine lights at dragons. Did he blind everybody in the battlefield and then like shoot arrows at him or what?
He just went invisible and just clotheslined everybody, man.
Sauron's greatest strength in Middle Earth was the fact that sunglasses hadn't been invented yet, and he uses the ring to like superpower his fucking staff.
There's
so nobody
no
can
way
see?
you watch those movies.
The ring turned him into a god? How did the ring turn him in? Oh, we got a Wikipedia link.
Where? Oh, One Ring. Okay, let me see this. Okay, I gotta see this.
Like, my sister has,
Oh my
like,
god, there's a whole Wikipedia article about the ring.
start reading.
No, I'm not gonna read books to understand a movie. That's
Well,
retarded.
but
You've
it
read the books, haven't you?
No, I
makes
haven't
it
read the
sound like
books.
You didn't
Really?
watch
Oh my gosh.
explain all of the things that you
Does
need to
Destiny think Sauron is Sauron? Are those different people?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
That is a good question. Were you confused, Steven?
Sauron was the old dude, and the Sauron was the big eye, right?
Saruman was the
They were the
white
same.
wizard.
It was like Ganon and Ganondorf, you know? They're like the same people, but they give them different names for whatever fucking reason.
Ganon. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, well, you can read. You can read through this later. I can't
Okay,
believe you haven't
I'll
read the books.
read
Are you
books.
serious? You haven't read the Lord of the Ring books?
Dude, those books are fucking huge, man.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, fans of Steven, you guys know what to send him. Holy crap. Make sure he reads this shit. That's crazy. You're going to need to allocate 6 hours of your
Why
time
was
again.
Frodo the one that was chosen to run the ring? Is it because of what his dad did, or what? Why was Frodo the magical choice?
His dad?
Yeah, wasn't The Hobbit about his dad, or no? What was The Hobbit about? The movie The
Oh
Hobbit.
my god.
Which Hobbit?
Oh
was
my
it?
god. I know what to label this VOD. Holy shit. Okay.
What's The Hobbit about? Oh, it was his uncle? Well, what the fuck did his dad... Why was Frodo chosen to run the ring to the mountain?
Is he trolling me? Is he trolling me?
Frodo
Did she
is
hear
the
me?
only one who can last long enough not to be corrupted? Was Frodo, like, pure of heart or some shit? What the fuck?
Yes, he was pure heart.
None of the... What about
do you
that,
know
like...
who Bilbo was?
What about the feminine archer dude? That guy seemed pretty pure. He couldn't do it? He wouldn't have gotten fucked so much on the way either. Are you saying that that guy wasn't pure of heart? Why couldn't he have ran the fucking ring? Elves were created by Sauron's race? That's dark as fuck.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'll
Alright.
watch the movie.
Yeah, I'm convinced he's trolling me at this point.
Not
This
yet.
is
You don't remember
ridiculous.
shit from these
This
movies.
is absolutely ridiculous.
Remember with fucking trees walking and fucking fights all the time, and then the ghost people came in at the end when it looked like the heroes were gonna lose, and then the one dude was like a super pussy the entire movie, the Aragon guy, but then he like manned the fuck up when he had like 50 million ghosts to fight for him. You know, like wow, you're brave now. You know, like that's all I remember from those movies. And then I remember constantly waiting for Gandalf to do some shit with his staff, and all he ever did was he like smacked people with it, and it felt like slapstick, and then I was always sad. That's all I remember. Okay. There we go. Okay, let's move on to the next topic.
You guys got that? Okay. Wow. That was damn, I wish I would have known this beforehand so I could be prepared for this. But I'm just my jaw's on the ground. I don't even know how to react to this.
I'll tell all of you. I don't care.
Okay, let's move on to
Yeah. Star Wars
Oh yeah,
is
should we talk about Star Wars too? Have you seen the Star Wars movies?
Star Wars was sick as shit. Really simple characters, all fit into classic archetypes. Very
Are you
entertaining.
sure you understand Star Wars?
Yeah, I understand Star Wars. That was the shit. The episodes 4 through 6. All right. Okay. Let's go. We're done with this. Let's move on.
All right. WCS. So WCS finals scheduled on the same weekend. All of them: Korea, North America, Europe, and it happens to be scheduled on the same weekend as the International 3. So communities reacted. Seen some folks like In Control and TB and lots of people in the community kind of posted their comments in the thread yesterday. So, what do you think, Steven? What do you think of all three finals being on the same day? First off.
I don't even know, man. It seems like a really bad idea to me, but I guess there are a lot of college kids who don't work and might have that weekend off for classes, I guess, who are saying it would be really nice to spend literally the entire fucking day watching StarCraft 2.
24-hour, baby. 24 hours.
There were a few people responding to shit saying, well, I was really excited for a day, and then fucking Grubby was like, well, I think it's really cool to be like the Heart of the Storm launch, where it's all days worth of events. Even though the launch of Heart of the Storm is way fucking different than, 3 super tournaments going on at the same time, but...
Yeah, I don't even. Oh man, I was just shaking my head a lot yesterday, trying not to post because if I posted, I would have posted something not. I think something kind of not very positive. So, um, it's for me, it's a bad idea. I don't even. I think Blizzard even knows it's a bad idea. Just given what Blizzard announced yesterday, they know it's not good to combine regional finals at the same time because they cannibalize each other. I mean, they're not going to run simultaneously, even in a 24-hour period. They'll overlap, I believe, and even if they didn't, I mean, it's always better when you have some regions from a time slot standpoint. There's usually two regions, right? Like North America and EU, or I guess in some crazy way, Korea and North America in some situations where there's two blocks of time that actually work for these regions. So you're going to be kind of I don't know. You're going to be kind of screwing some of these regions for some of these finals because I can tell you, for me, I won't be able to. I mean, I have to sleep. I can't stay up 2 or 3 straight days and watch this stuff. So, not to mention just all the other things I have to do in my life too. So, there's no way there's no way I'm going to be able to catch all of this. And because of that, there's going to be less views. Because the less views, the sponsors are going to get less impressions. That all leads to less money, less publicity, less everything for the organizations, the players, WCS, the game.
Yeah, so
it's
if anybody who's a member of a big team is here, wants to step in and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think I am. But one of the things when you're a team and you're going to a sponsor and you're trying to get a sponsorship deal, part of the things that you do is you pimp out events that you go to, right? So like one of the things you'll do is you'll say like we have 8 players that have ranked so far in these MLGs,
Mm-hmm.
And MLGs get this kind of viewership, like an MLG will get 30 million total viewers, blah blah blah, and our players are on screen sometimes for hours at a time, which means this much exposure, blah 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 blah. So when you fuck events over like this, you're not just like hurting people that want to watch, but you're also fucking over potential exposure for people that are sponsored by certain teams because now they're not getting the kind of airtime they want, or the events that you told them that would get a certain amount of coverage aren't getting the kind of viewership that you want because now they're competing with every other tournament. It's just not like everything is bad about running all 3 tournaments at the same time. I don't understand how that could possibly.
I don't think they chose to do it. I mean, it was just scheduling wise and things that were already pre-scheduled ended up calling for them all being at the same time. I don't think Blizzard planned on this 24 hours type of regional finals business.
Then why did they do it? What do you mean?
Well, because so with the EU one, WCS EU, which for me is the best one, they wanted to coincide with Gamescom, so they wanted to be there, and whether it was ESL's choice or not to really push that, I don't know, but they wanted to coincide with Gamescom, so that's why they ended up doing it that weekend. Korea,
okay. So
no idea why
this
Korea.
This is gonna sound like an asshole thing to say, and there are gonna be some people who will fight me to the death or whatever. Okay, but this is the exact same argument that people got into when you talk about lighting and sound issues at large tournaments. Okay, and every time you have the arguments of why are there all these sound problems with these tournaments, you always get these fucking college kids that jump up and say shit like, "Well, I've done this before, and it's really fucking hard. Like audio work is really hard. You fucking idiot. Like you've never done anything like this at all." It's like, okay, like that's fucking cool, but when you're a fucking professional, like it's your fucking job, like you have to, like this is just like what you have to do, like it's part of your job. If you worked in the audio engineering world and you were producing a record for fucking Kanye West and you were to come to you every single day and go like, hey, like the balance or the mastering or the mixing on this song is always fucked, like what's wrong, can you fix it? And you go, dude, Kanye, it's really hard, man, like he would fucking fire you and get somebody else. Or if you were a composer working for Hans Zimmer and he was like, I want to transition between these 2 pieces, or I want this to line up, because Hans will commission other people to work for him sometimes, and you're like I'm sorry, Hans, but like this is really hard. And there are stories of Zimmer literally firing people on the spot for saying things like this is too hard, it's the exact same way with this Blizzard shit. Like, is it hard to get the schedules to line up? I guess so. But you're not working for free. It's not a charity job. Like, it's a AAA company. Like, everybody at Blizzard gets paid a fuck ton of money. It's what you have to do. Like, this is part of the job description. You can't just tank your entire job and go, well, this was really hard, guys. Sorry. Like,
Well,
maybe it won't happen again. Like it doesn't work that way. Like if I get into a huge accident and I kill a family of 4, and the officer was like, "What the fuck were you doing?" I was like, "Well, I mean, it was raining outside, so it was slippery. It's really hard to drive in the rain when it's slippery." Like, do you think that I would just get off the hook? Like the judge would be like, "All right, well, just like try to slow down next time," you know? Like, no, like it's your responsibility as a driver to make sure that your car doesn't go careening off the road and killing people.
Yeah, I think the question is whether, we're all pointing the finger at Blizzard here and that sort of thing. But we have to remember that Blizzard is partnered with a bunch of organizations to run these regions, and I guess there is a question of whether how much control does Blizzard really have, in terms of forcing these organizations to do what's best.
Well,
for
then you
WCS.
talk to the organizations, or you make it, or like if I was Blizzard, I would go. Okay, so like this is obviously super simple, obviously, because I don't know all the politics inside Blizzard. But like if I was the head of Blizzard, okay, or if I was the company in charge of tournament management, and I knew my schedule was fucked, I would go, all right, well, we're scheduling all 3 at the same time, but the public is going to need an announcement for why it's happening, and we're going to point to your company as the reason why there's a huge conflict here. Like somebody has to take the blame for that. Why would Blizzard want to take the fall for fucking up their entire tournament? Like Jesus Christ! Like it's the International 3 the largest esports event in the history of.
We haven't even gotten to that point yet. Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. We haven't even gotten to that point yet. But running all 3 tournaments like back to back is such a bad idea. Like, why can't you work with your partners as a huge fucking company? Activision Blizzard is not like Destiny LLC or fucking even Team Liquid or EG. Like it's fucking Blizzard Activision. Like you're telling me that they don't have the weight to get to influence people to change their schedules just by like a week to move around like when their tournaments will be? Like they don't. You're telling me that company doesn't have any say or any sway or any control at all?
Let me give you an example of what I mean. So NASL, right? They're doing WCS America, and I know they can't do the week after because I know the championships for the World of Tanks is the following week. So I think there was some restrictions at least on when NASL could do it because this organization has obviously other things that they have to do too, right? They have other contracts they have to fulfill also that has nothing to do with WCS and Blizzard, right?
Sure.
So that's kind of what I'm talking about. It's just like the partners, they're working with partners that have different schedules too. So it kind of begs the question of whether Blizzard is forcing these guys to do what's best for WCS, and I don't know if that's true. At least for this season right now. I mean, Korea, I have no idea why Korea chose it. Like I've heard other things or reasons why the other ones were scheduled there. No idea why Korea was scheduled on that day. From what I could tell, it could be scheduled.
I feel like
next
there
week.
might be a fundamental issue or a fundamental flaw with a company taking on what is essentially the most important aspect of another industry and then not prioritizing that in its list of things to do. For instance, let's say that I am a pro gamer and I've got to do 50,000 things in a day, right? I've got to work on my desk review, I've got to work on streaming, I've got to do emails, right?
Yeah.
And then let's say that I also have another task where every 5 minutes I've got to click a button to make it so that somebody's pacemaker continues to go, right?
Okay.
So
yeah.
If I don't click that button, that person dies, right? Because their pacemaker like explodes. Let's say that it explodes if I don't click that button every 5 minutes. Do you see the problem with giving me a task that to somebody else is of incredible importance when it's nowhere near the most important thing on my plate because I'm busy streaming, I'm busy doing emails, I'm busy playing League of Legends, working on my desk review, like oh fuck, like sorry dude, like I forgot to click on your I tried, like I'm doing everything I can, I forgot to click on your pacemaker, like your heart exploded, like I'm sorry, like because when this pacemaker doesn't get an update every 5 minutes, it blows up, that sounds fucked up, right? That you would give me that monumental task, even though in my personal list of priorities, it's very small, because let's say this guy is Asian and I don't care about their life very much, right, ChanManV? No, I'm just kidding. But like say it's somebody that I'll never see, he's in another planet in fucking 2,000 miles away, and I'll never see him, right? So like giving me that task is really bad because I might not remember, I might not forget, it's whatever. You understand the analogy, right?
I get what you're saying.
To give the tournament scene to Blizzard, which is the most important part of like, or an incredibly important part of the entire community, to give them that thing and then to see them put it so low on their list of priorities, like, well, sorry, we had to schedule all 3 back-to-back because you know what? Fucking we got other shit we have to do. Like, suck my dick. Like, next time we won't make you suck it as much, Do you see like how that might be a fucked up list of priorities, like why not give it to MLG or DreamHack or NASL or fucking bring back IPL or anyone else who would put it farther up on their list of priorities? Because as much as we hate MLG, there's no way that MLG would have fucked this up this bad, because this is priority number one to them, you know? Or NASL, it's priority number one to them. MLG is never going to say like, well, sorry guys, we had all this other shit we were doing, so now we did all
right, so I think you're over. I mean, do I have to rehash history with you? We've been trying this for years now to get all these organizations to create some kind of, you know, collective league or whatever you want to call it, right? And
sure.
And yeah, that's what we were talking about. All those guys a year ago from today at DreamHack Valencia, there was that whole summit, and we were like, oh yes, you know, all these big figures in the community gonna all meet up, and they're gonna do something cool together, right? Or start working together.
Okay.
And you know, that's why when Blizzard came in, everybody was very hopeful that was kind of essentially what was happening. Blizzard would just kind of oversee all of this, bring everything together into one storyline, and quite honestly, if things were executed well and we didn't have all these issues even leading up to now, it would have been pretty nice. And it's again, just right now it's not.
This sounds mean to say, but when you assume that kind of a role, even if you're doing it out of generosity, there's always responsibilities that come along with it. If I'm at the bar with friends one night and all of them are really drunk, and I'm the designated driver, and I say that I'll be the designated driver and I'll drive us, and we start driving that night, and I get into a terrible car accident cause like I'm not drunk or anything, but I get into a really bad car accident. It's not like I get to say like, whoa guys, like don't blame me, like I was the designated driver, I was being really nice, like I'm sorry that I got in a big car accident and you all lost like your arms or some shit, like don't blame me, like I was you can't just say that just because Blizzard was nice enough to come and assume this role means that they can infinitely and indefinitely fuck everything up about it and then still get praise for taking on that role, because there are responsibilities that come along with it, even if you're being generous in your initial assumption of said role, you know?
Yeah, and I wish, you know, like I do, I wish Blizzard would. I don't know how to put it, but I wish they would make better decisions, you know, with even working out the mess that is apparently, you know, there's this kind of sentiment that there's a mess that was caused by other people that, you know, just other people that might not be with Blizzard today. But the thing is that I just wish it just didn't feel like that we're kind of just writing it home until the end of 2013, just so that it can start over next year. You know, I kind of feel like that sometimes. I have to admit, you know, that they're just trying to get through 2013, and they just, you know, end up running over things, messing things up. It's, you know, they're just trying to get us to be hopeful for 2014, and I just feel like it's doing some damage, and hopefully it doesn't do irreparable damage, you know, in terms of community and just the perception of our game, because our game is great, our game is healthy, our game is great, and I just, you know, I'm just a little bit worried about that sort of stuff, you know, that sort of thing. So okay, let's talk about it being scheduled on at the same week as the International 3. I mean, that's just crazy. I don't even know what to say. I mean, the International 3, even for me, who doesn't really follow Dota 2, is an amazing, amazing event that I watch. You know, I don't even know what's going on sometimes, but I still watch it, and it's freaking exciting. And I mean, how would you rank it in the terms of the biggest esports events every year?
Like, I don't have to. Like, it's gonna be the biggest esports.
I mean, it's the biggest prize pool for sure.
Yeah,
right?
like it's gonna be like the biggest event of all time. Like, holy shit! I don't know, man.
Yeah. So, oh man, I don't even know what to say about that, because I mean, do we even have to talk about just how much cannibalization there is? I mean, Dota 2...
I really hope it would suck. I'm really worried, because I know that Valve has put a lot of effort into buffing the prize pool list, and Dota 2 is still a fledgling esport, and I'm really worried that with the TI3, I don't want the viewership to tank because everybody's watching WCS. You know, like that's probably my biggest worry.
It's hurting both.
That Valve pulls out completely because nobody watches the International 3 because everybody's too busy watching WCS and A. You know.
Yep. And that's the thing. It's gonna hurt both sides of it. Like, neither event can reach its full potential because.
Wait, I was completely kidding there. Oh, I'm sorry.
Fuck you. Then.
I was trolling. No, nobody's gonna watch WCS over the TI3.
Some people will. Okay. Some people will watch it over it.
Nobody's gonna watch WCS over TI3, dude.
Some people will.
There's no way.
Okay, you can't. You have to admit that if WCS wasn't on, that there would be more people watching TI3. The viewership would be higher. I mean, come on. It doesn't matter what the percentage is. It's the fact that WCS is on. There are going to be some viewers that don't watch the TI3 because of it, and obviously vice versa. Probably heavier the other way around. And
no. Let's say that you had a new Lord of the Rings movie coming out, and it was a 5-minute short, and it was going to debut on NBC, but at the exact same time on Fox, there was a video being run of like Michelle Obama and Barack Obama fucking each other. Like, what do you think everybody's going to watch? Like, even though the new Lord of the Rings movie might be cool, like, nobody's gonna fucking watch that, dude. Like, come on, man. The TI3 is the largest fucking esports event of all time, in an incredibly successful and relatively new esport. There's nobody who's gonna turn off the TI3 for the WCS, man. It's not gonna happen.
Okay, so for the most part, I think I agree with you, but there are moments that WCS will be in its, the finals or just the biggest moments of WCS that TI3 will not be. So, some folks could be switching over to that and watching that. I mean, there's lots of scenarios like that, all right? So having it be black and white, that's not going to be black and white. Some people will be watching both. Some people will have both streams up at the same time, too.
Yeah, I guess you could.
It's just for the most part...
Even though 50% of people can't even watch a single Twitch stream at 1080p, they'll be running both, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. God, whatever. But so I've seen some people. I saw some people in the thread saying that how is this different than DreamHack or some of these other events that have multiple games running. It's different, guys, because we're talking about one event. The viewership kind of like MLG, right, has 3 games going at the same time, right? And I think some people in that thread here were wondering what the difference is in that sort of scenario than this. And the difference is that everything feeds into the MLG, regardless of some people watching COD or watching League of Legends or watching StarCraft 2. It all goes back towards MLG and them being able to impress sponsors and all that.
There's also distinct audiences for 3 separate events, and even if there's a little bit of overlap, like at least it's still the same tournament. Like it's MLG Anaheim. And I might want to watch some League and some StarCraft 2, but I'll go to see it. At MLG Anaheim. With all 3 StarCraft tournaments being the same day back to back, there's going to be people who can't watch the whole thing. And there might be like a lot of potential lost kind of hype. Like after every big tournament, even the ones that I don't, even though I rarely watch it, like. After every big tournament, there's always kind of that basking for a little bit afterwards, and I feel like it gets downplayed a little bit. Like, imagine if there's a big upset and somebody like Ghost User wins WCS on it, something like that. Or, I mean, actually, Ghost User is pretty good. I don't even know how much of an upset that would be anymore. But say that some foreigner who's not planned on, or an underdog ends up winning WCSNA, there's like no time to bask in that at all, because immediately after that, we're off to WCS EU, and then immediately after that, we're off to WCS KR. Like, it's just like so much shit crammed into one fucking day that. I don't know. It feels really meh to me.
Yeah. So, I mean, nothing's going to change. So, I mean, that's the one thing that we do know is that Blizzard did post something explaining.
Will never ever admit a mistake ever.
Oh, they did post a response, and I think the response.
They posted a PR statement saying, "Fuck all of you. We're going to condescend to you incredibly and we're awful. We have your money." And it doesn't matter.
That's not true.
So what did the statement say? Read me one sentence of substance in that statement. Find that statement and pick out one sentence that had any substance in it.
Right,
I'm waiting.
We're
going to wait for you.
Yeah. Let me bring this shit up. Where the fuck is it? Where is it? You posted it in this chat, didn't you? Yesterday? God, let me see. Here. Okay, here it is. Okay.
You got one?
Damn it, you got that music on. Shit, at your beck and call. Nice. We wanna. Okay, let me find you a sentence. A sentence. Oh shit.
No?
These conflicts were certainly not intentional. How about that?
That's what you got for me? That the conflicts were not intentional. So now we know that Blizzard didn't intentionally... Okay, thank you.
So they didn't do it on purpose, man. They didn't do it on purpose.
All right, you're right. That's good. So that's all we got out of that? It was absolutely nothing of substance.
Nothing of substance. I mean, they explained the whole EU part with the Gamescom.
They didn't explain anything. What did they explain? Go back and read me the explanation. Read.
What?
What explanation? Where was the explanation?
What are you talking about?
There's no explanation for anything.
So how did we arrive at the second paragraph right there? This how did we arrive at the dates for the major WCS Season 2 events?
We wanted ESL to do it.
At Gamescom in Germany, late August.
Okay, what else?
I mean, that was the main point that they made.
So I wanted ESL to do it at Gamescom. Okay, so that's it? So why did all three have to be scheduled?
I agree. There's no mention of America. There's no mention.
Does occur at the same time as the TI3 or whatever, or the IT3, the International Tournament 3? Sorry, I keep saying TI3.
Yes, it's the same weekend.
It's the same weekend or whatever?
Yeah.
And there is no... And so ESL producing that tournament during Gamescom is more important than avoiding the conflict with the International 3? What do you think? What do you think? Okay, how about this? How about instead of phrasing this to you as ChanManV, the family man who loves his family and has a show doing this shit or whatever, Rick, how about I ask you this as like a six-figure salaried employee of Blizzard? Do you think it's worth it? Do you see how like the questions carry a little bit more weight when you're like salaried by a AAA company to produce shit that doesn't suck dick? Like, come on, like it's your fucking job, man. No?
I don't know if I can pretend to play devil's advocate anymore.
Like, holy fuck. I would be so much less critical if this was like the Lone Star Clash and it was like the Rosen kids were like organizing this tournament. Then I would be like, damn, you know, like you guys, you fucked up kind of bad, but like you're college kids and you got classes and shit, you know, like it's so much different when it's an actual person being paid money to organize this kind of shit behind the scenes, you know? And you realize, like, and we can agree that that statement was of absolutely no substance whatsoever, right? It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a zero substance statement.
It's a classic PR statement.
Somebody posted this in the earlier thread. Did I copy paste you that?
No.
Hold on.
Let me see. What, in the original thread, you mean?
Yeah. Hold on. In the one with just the slasher announcement. They said. Oh wait, hold on. Fuck. I'm not gonna be able to find it now. Oh, so somebody said... I think this shit is very funny. Hold on, I gotta find it. Fuck.
Alright, let me see. You putting in the Skype here?
Can you link me the thread, the slasher thread, where slasher tweeted?
This is the original, right? With In Control's comments and TB's comments and all that stuff? Yeah.
In Control's on top.
Yeah, this one. Alright, so what is this comment that you're getting?
Shut the fuck up. What? Okay, look, this is what this guy said, okay? This guy guessed this guy guessed what their response would be. Open that on stream and read it.
Oh god. I'm afraid. Alright, let's see this. What is this? Wait, oh, hold on. Okay, let's see, what is... Shit, it keeps giving me, hold on. Keyboard doesn't want to cut and paste. Here. Alright, here we go. Let's show you guys. I guess it's something along the lines. So, alright, so what is your point?
So this guy's like guess of the PR fluff bullshit statement. It's pretty much verbatim what they put out. I don't know.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I mean, that's typical. There's nothing surprising about the PR statement. They're not gonna go into crazy details. I mean, no organization does. But okay, let's move on. Again, there's not much more to say about it right now. I'm sure we'll be seeing an AMA, or we'll see Cloakin, or somebody from Blizzard on one of the shows soon, I imagine.
I hope it's on a really hard-hitting show like Live 1-3, so that we can get those really grilled questions like, this isn't going to happen again, right? Right. Good interview.
We'll see. I've been asking to see if they would come on Climbing the Ladder too. So
Yo, if they do Climbing the Ladder, can you throw me in as like a secret guest so that I can come on?
We'll talk about it if that happens.
Hard-hitting questions.
they're
you
probably
can't talk about it with them,
they're
though.
probably watching right now.
You gotta
okay?
like ninja me in. Oh well, then now they're not gonna come on any of your shows because it's possible. Fuck.
Right. All right, guys. Let's take a quick break. We'll move on to the whole benefits of performance coaching and our guest Robert Yip. But yeah, we'll see you in a second. Later.